Welcome to Besties and Bubbles.
Welcome, friends.
Cheers.
Cheers, bestie.
Oh, my goodness.
Ooh.
It's podcast day.
It's podcast day, and this is like the kickstart of our weekend.
We love it.
This is just so exciting. Just so you know, we do podcast day, and then we always go out afterwards.
We do.
It's not like we have a lack of things to say.
Never.
Actually, today, we worked out this morning together.
Check. I mean, we do that almost every
Then
morning.
we talked on the phone.
As I was walking to the grocery store.
And then on the way to Legree, I also called you.
Yes, you did.
And then we went through class together.
Yes,
which is Legree. Mm-hmm. And here we are.
And here we are. Yeah. And then we talked like for a solid 40
minutes before doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, I just don't get bored of her. I mean, it's just always something new. It's great.
You know.
Well, I wanted to check in with our listeners and see if they did our challenge from last week.
That's right, from the Lemon Challenge.
We challenged you to pick one affirmation, write it down, post it, or on a post-it and post it somewhere, like on your fridge or your bathroom mirror.
Or your notes on your phone or
your
whatever.
phone, your desk, and say it to yourself once, twice, 3 times a day out loud.
Yes. I think out loud, but maybe you say it to yourself, whatever.
No, you're supposed to do it out loud.
I mean,
That's
whatever works, but
That's
yes.
what AI says.
Okay.
That's what science says. Works better. So we want to know if you did that. So if you could please comment, if you didn't watch the episode, it was episode 48?
48, I think.
Yep, 48, and it's called the Lemon Test, is what we just labeled it. And we totally want to know if you guys did that. So please go back to that episode and comment under the, they could do it on YouTube or they could do it on their Facebook page.
Or our Facebook page, yes.
And we gave them on Facebook
some affirmations, some examples, right? It's the I am, right? That's really what we're looking for.
Right.
I am. So whatever you got, friends, share it with us. And maybe if you did do it daily, how have things changed for you?
We would love to know.
Yeah.
Because we think it's science that is worth spreading the good news about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
So our topic today, Kimberly.
Yes, Tracy.
Came from a discussion that you and I were having with a friend of ours. Mm-hmm. And she was saying that she had gone to Costco and she had her cart at her car after her shopping spree.
Right.
And she was loading a bunch of stuff into her car. And a gentleman walked up and I said, "What age?" And she said,
like
late 40s,
late 40s,
50,
maybe early
50s.
50s. So
And Gen Xer walked up to her, and she's in her 40s.
Yes, she's mid-40s.
Mid-40s. And he said, "Can I help?" And she immediately
kind of was taken aback.
Like, why is this man walking up to me?
Rando.
She thought maybe he wanted her cart.
Right. That was the first thing.
And then he was like, you have a lot of stuff. You have some heavy stuff. And she was like, "No, I'm good." Dismissed it and kind of was a little alarmed. It is noteworthy that her husband is a police officer, though. I think she is kind of
right.
And I
think when you grow, or if you grow up in that environment, or B, if your spouse is, and that's just, something that you're aware of, you're
always aware of your surroundings, and
your
bad things happen to people.
More heightened for awareness, right?
Yes. And then, so she was polite again and said no.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Do you want my card?" He's like, "No, I'm just trying to help." He said, "When is the last time someone offered to help you?"
When's the last time someone's offered to help you?
So that sparked the question. Like, I think he was probably just being nice.
Really nice. I mean,
it was
we don't know his story.
Yeah.
You know,
He also could be a murderer, honestly.
he could be, but you know what? Maybe that's
Not
what
in this case in our story, though.
But maybe this man, maybe he just lost his partner, his wife, and maybe this is what he did for her. Like we don't know.
Right.
We have no clue.
It seems to be he was just being nice.
Yes.
And what is your reaction when people would walk up to you and just want to be nice?
Strangers.
Now, it's different if they're like holding the door.
Sure.
Or it's different if you're in a group. You know, like,
right.
Now she was kind of in a parking lot by herself, and I don't know. I guess I'd be a little sus too if somebody walked up to me.
We didn't ask her if it was at night or
during the day.
Okay, it was during the day. Okay, so, a little less harmless.
Yeah, so it just started the question and the conversation with Kimmy about chivalry.
Chivalry, like...
Is chivalry dead?
Yeah, and... How about, first of all, what is chivalry?
Exactly.
I think from Gen Xers, we understand what that word means.
Do you think our kids would know? I don't know if Emily would know what the word chivalry is.
I know my boys know because that was a part of what we did in raising them. But
do they know that word?
They know the word.
Okay,
they
that's
definitely
good.
know the word. But I would
for you.
say that holistically, right? Like, and you and I were kind of surprised too when we did a little bit more research. Like, we know what chivalry is and what we grew up with, but in actuality, if you look up the definition of chivalry or where it started, it had nothing to do with what it is, how we grew up with it.
But I do like what it stands for.
Yeah. So
it was about knights, and what their code was: honor, protection, and loyalty, and that was considered chivalrous.
Right. So this was in medieval times, and
honor, protection, and loyalty.
Yeah. So it was really men being, I guess you would say, chivalrous.
Yes.
To their
whoever they were loyal to.
Whoever they're loyal to, their parties, their whoever they went in to fight battles with, or whatever that looks like.
And then it kind of got diluted down into more like, well,
from the social perspective,
social expectations,
right?
That the same type of man would have, not just for people, that he was fighting along with, but for a woman in his life,
right?
And that became chivalrous. And you can look back at old movies and things like that, and they definitely promote that, where a woman was always, putting her jacket down when there was a puddle, and offering a hand to get out of the car.
Yeah. Or standing up when, a woman was seated or leaving the table.
Yes.
To use the restroom, or whatever the case may be.
So you saw that in movies, and I think we recognize it as, that's good manners or chivalry, right?
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's like kind of how it started. And so then we said, well, is it dead?
Yeah.
Is chivalry dead?
Yeah.
So we did a little research, and the answer was...
Well, it's not dead. It's just a little misled or misguided, right?
It's a little confusing.
Yeah. And I feel that it's confusing... Probably on both sides.
It is.
And not maybe necessarily so much for Gen Xers like us, but maybe millennials, Gen Z, and so forth.
Yes. So they're saying, like, if men hesitate to do something nice, like this man didn't hesitate, but he wasn't like he was accepted warmly.
Right.
She never did let him touch her stuff in the car,
Yeah.
So if men hesitate, there's reasons why they hesitate. There's reasons why men now, today, even if they were uber chivalrous to someone they were, someone in their life, right? Woman, daughter, spouse, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
To a stranger, they would maybe not be, because they're a little confused in what we want.
Right. So, women, like, what do we want?
What do you want? Would you accept help from someone that wants to help you put groceries in your cart during the day?
Yeah. I don't know. Would you? I mean, if you're clearly capable of doing it, do you...
But what if you're struggling to put it in.
If you're struggling, then I really do hope someone comes along and
Because if it was a woman
out.
struggling, have you not helped mothers? I've helped mothers with children.
Right,
I've helped whole babies before.
Yes.
And I'm like, but like in a store when someone's like really struggling.
Yeah.
And that is just like kindness.
It is.
You know?
And I also think that chivalry, it does go beyond, even though what we're talking about is male female.
Right.
But it is just, it's kindness and
it's just putting yourself out there and
nice and helpful to others, right?
The problem is that haven't we rejected people's help before because either we were scared or we didn't want to, or we were like, I'm independent, I don't need help, I'll do it myself.
What, you think I can't do this myself?
You think I can't do it? Yeah. So they're saying that men believe that women may react that way, and that's why they're less likely to do it.
Well,
Isn't that interesting?
I would have to say I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
And I would say, again, we're talking about Gen Xers, but this is for you millennials and Gen Zers as well. It's kind of nice when a man does these things for you.
Yes.
To be honest. I mean, maybe we'll get a lot of feedback that's not what they want or they don't think it's nice, but I think it's kind of nice.
Well, we asked our source about that, and they said that maybe chivalry, definitely what is more common is that women really like the thoughtfulness of it, the follow through, someone being present, and politeness without condensation.
Right.
Condensation.
Yeah. Like
being condescending.
Yes.
Not like moisture buildup on a window.
Correct. Not to be confused with that.
Not to be confused.
Right.
In case there was any. Yes.
Right.
So it seems to be that women, and you guys tell us what you think, they want men helping without that man assuming that you can't do it yourself.
Correct.
We want men to help, but we just don't want them to do it assuming that we can't do it ourselves.
Right.
I see the fine line here.
I do as well. And
right.
I mean, I think it's really interesting because I feel that the way, let's take it even a step back. Generation, boomers.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's our parents. So that's really, I mean, men were raised mostly that way.
Is your dad chivalrous to your mom?
Absolutely.
Were you raised watching your dad be chivalrous?
Yes, absolutely.
Name some things he did.
Well, he would open the car door. He would be the one that would stand up
at the table.
Mostly, in business settings or out to dinner, not at home. I'll be clear about that.
That would be weird at the kitchen table. I'm going to stand up every time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would also say, chivalry is also, taking care of things that, quite frankly, are, man jobs, Did
your mom ever drive your dad? Or did your dad always drive?
Oh, my dad always drove.
Your dad always drove?
Yeah, and he would always put gas in the car.
My dad always drove. Always put back. You know what also my dad did, I remember? Even in the winter, he'd wash the car every Sunday morning before we went to church. Aww. My mom's car that we would go to in church because my dad drove a crappy truck.
Yeah.
Right? So, he would wash the car.
Yeah.
And he would also get the gas. He would drive us. He would drop all of us off at the door.
Oh, yeah. We always got dropped off, and then my dad would park
dropped
the car.
off. My father always dropped off. Yes.
Maddie does that, too.
Maddie does do that.
So
my dad, when I had the studio, do you remember that? My dad he had a key to the studio. I would come in the morning, and I would be there at 5 a.m. Do you remember this? And he would bring me flowers.
I do remember that.
Yeah. He'd just be flowers on my desk, and I'm like...
Yeah.
From my dad, but...
That's very sweet.
As an adult, he would still just bring me flowers. Just to, so is it a generational thing?
I do think it is, but I think that's when there were more defined, women.
Masculine and feminine roles.
Correct.
That's true.
Women were staying at home, raising children.
Did your mom stay at home and raise children?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
But she also then volunteered.
Yeah.
I mean, she did a lot of volunteering.
But did your dad do the cooking? I don't know how this turned into like your parents. I'm sorry. I know your mom watches. Hi, Mom. I'm just curious.
Yeah, actually, my dad is the one who taught my mom how to cook.
Okay. So that's so his dad probably cooked, don't you think?
Well,
I don't think my dad knew how to cook.
My dad actually learned a lot. Both they were in a situation where, my grandmother had passed at an early age, and so someone had to clean the house, take care of the house, and someone had to cook. And so my dad and my aunt divided those responsibilities.
So your dad learned to cook because his mother passed away.
Correct.
And he was still
18.
young.
He was 18.
Okay.
So, yeah. But from there, he's the one that kind of taught my mom how to cook.
Okay.
But from there, they had defined roles and responsibilities. And what that looked like was my dad took care of the outside of the house.
Yeah.
Everything out, mowing the lawn,
garbage,
landscaping, snow removal, all that stuff. And my mom took care of the inside of the house. But it also meant cars. That's a man thing. You take care of the cars.
But does that mean that your mom never got gas and your dad never did laundry?
That's actually a good question.
Do you know what I mean? Did they not ever be like, she's too busy, I'm just going to take this load out and do, you know what I mean? Like that?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I would say back in the day when we were growing up, self-service gas stations were, or not self-serve, full-serve.
Yes, full-serve.
Were more popular.
I love
Like you had a choice.
I just put this on my story. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
I want to bring that back. It's so cold out. I would have paid extra to have somebody just pump my gas.
In the state of New Jersey, that's the only way you can get gas is full serve.
I think some areas in New York too. Sorry.
Oh, well, yep. Okay. So, but that's how it was.
Yeah.
So, and I remember when I pumped gas, I was like, ew, whatever. But anyway.
My dad taught me how to drive. My dad taught me how to pump gas, how to change a tire, how to tie a tie.
Yes.
I was the first daughter after boys, and maybe he just thought, maybe we should just do this with all the kids. I don't know. But I remember having, my dad teaching me those male things.
Do you, so I guess if we're talking about chivalry, right, these are things that we would also want to teach our boys, right?
100%.
So, were there things that your brothers did that were chivalrous? If that's even a word. Do you know what I mean?
I'm trying to think. So my brothers were a lot older, than me. Yeah. So, and it's not like we both lived in the house when we were adults.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? By the time you were an adult, you were out of my house, basically, including me. So I don't know that, but I know that my dad was a good example of a hard worker and a provider, and I know that all my brothers are definitely providers.
Yes.
And I think that was a strong thing where I'm trying to think. None of their wives really, they stayed home and raised the babies.
Sure.
And were able to do that because of my brothers being able to take care of them. Now, it's not that when they got older they did their own thing, but I know that was a thing. And I think that was very much mirrored in our family. Yeah. My mom didn't work until we were much older. Yeah. So she had a lot of years raising kids and until we were older, and then she worked at our school, actually. So she had the same hours and same summers off and things like that. So, but, I think that's one thing that we can do if we don't want it to die as our, you know what I mean? I think it's so polite when my son, and I'll be walking in and he'll take a step ahead and go reach for that door, and I say, thank you. That is the right thing to do.
Right. And we've talked about this when you go through a revolving door.
Yes.
Who goes first?
The man is supposed to go first and touch it and push it, and the woman goes behind. And then he waits for her.
Right. So she shouldn't have to
So she shouldn't have to expend energy.
Right. Now, she clearly can, obviously.
So So we've even talked about that earlier on a podcast about walking on the street, and we think it's very gentlemanlike for a man to walk closest to the traffic and hold us on the inside and hold our hand. Like, we think, you and I have said that we think that that's a nice gentleman, chivalrous thing to do.
I agree. And I've actually done that with my children, right?
Right.
You keep the child on the inside and not on the outside to protect them.
So here's the $10,000 question.
All right, Tracy, bring it.
Do you think, though, because you do it with your children, and we also expect men to do that because we think that's a chivalrous thing to do, does that mean that we think that we're weaker or that we need protection?
I don't think it's that we're weaker. I think it's very kind of a man to be the protector.
Yes. But
right?
That's the problem, is why men don't get what we really want, is because I could see how a man be like, oh, you think that you should be on the inside? You know what I mean? So obviously it's the way, if this is obviously somebody in your life, then these are conversations that you can have that are gentle, you know. In the dating world, it's kind of my standard, and I will give you an example.
Okay.
So if someone is disrespectful, or if I don't feel like they have enough masculine energy and I feel like I have to make the plans and I have to do, it's a big turnoff for me.
Okay, fair.
So I like the open up the door. I like the pick up the tab. I like the chivalrous things. I do. I'm very attracted to that. And getting dropped off. And honestly, my dad was like that. And so you can't blame me for but I'm also a strong and independent person as well. And I also have a fair amount of masculine energy, which we've talked about as well, because I've been alone for a while and I make all the decisions and all that kind of stuff.
Correct.
But in a dating situation, I like when a man takes the initiative and does things like that. So, all right. So we were talking about what are ways that we can do if we want
as
chivalry,
women. Right.
What can we do as women to make men, because it is confusing.
Right.
It's confusing.
And I embrace what you're saying, right? So I think as women, we can recognize the fact that if a man is wanting to do something for you and you can clearly do it yourself, we can be gracious about it. Right? A simple thank you.
Absolutely. Like when Matt goes and will he go get gas in your car?
Yes, he actually does do that for me.
Things like that, right? I think that's like a chivalrous thing to do. It's not that Kim can't go pump her own gas, but
no, of course I can.
Right. So if we want men to continue to do chivalrous things, or our boys to do chivalrous things because that's really the only people we have control over, right? The men in our life and the boys, the men we raise. The men
we're raised, that we've raised, or if we are raising right now, right? Or grandsons or whatever.
Right. We tell them what we want them, and then we basically reward them. I don't mean it to be like puppies, but you know what I mean? Reward them physically, thank you, and I appreciate that when they do something that is chivalrous, and that encourages them to do it again.
Right.
I guess.
I mean, I would say
that's not rocket science.
No, because the opposite would be, if you're talking about boys, maybe they like a favorite meal that you make for them, or taking them out somewhere, or Starbucks, or whatever that looks like, right? So, but I think the thing that we're focusing on is the fact that chivalry is not dead.
It's not dead.
It's just shifted, and really I think that it's up to the women, right, to let men know that we do want these things.
And sometimes it's creating the atmosphere for them to be able to do it.
Absolutely. Yes. Can we plan an entire, weekend or evening? Yeah, we can, but maybe let our guy do that. You know,
Right.
maybe let the man do that. And you know what? Maybe it's not perfect, and that's okay, right? Because think about when we were like letting our kids try to be independent, you know, they screwed it up so many times, and it'll be like, it'd just be easier if I just do it myself. But they'll never learn, right? Unless you let them do that. I would say the same for men, right? They'll never
for anyone,
learn,
even if it was your
right?
kid the first time. Yeah,
Right.
things like that,
They
right?
won't
That is how
learn.
people learn, and they're going to pick up on your body language. They're going to pick up on how you appreciate things, and so that's like our role, basically. So they say, like, be clear if you do like something. I actually had a scenario that I told you about. I am dating someone, and I told him, just because we were watching Landman, I said, "Look at Andy Garcia in this. In this, do you remember this?
Yeah.
Andy Garcia in this scene, right? When his wife wanted to leave the table, he stood up and he excused her, and then she went there and he had his business meeting, and then he waved her back, and when she walked back to the table, he stood up, put his napkin down, sat her down, and then sat down, and I was like, I want a man that does that for me. And I actually just said that in front of him because we were watching Landman. And then we were at a bar later that day. Every time I went to the bathroom when I came back from the bar, he stood up, and I was like, oh, okay. But
It's the thought that counts.
It was the thought that counts. I couldn't help but giggle because we had just talked about that. But it's the thought that counts. Yes, your dad's not standing up every time your mom, at the kitchen table. But when they're out to dinner, if he stands up and seats her, that is adorable to me.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't want a man to be chivalrous. I'm voting yes. I like it. So I'm hoping I'm able to create an environment and allow a man to do that, because I think it's adorable.
I think it is too. And I would also say, it doesn't mean that it has to be every single time.
Of course.
You can create, maybe it's a date. Maybe it's a fun date where you're like going to practice chivalry and with each other. Like, how fun is that, right? But I just think that there are certain things that we do need to make sure that the young men know what to do. I'm just going to throw a few out there, right? Opening a car door. What woman wouldn't want a car door opened up for her?
Being dropped off.
Sorry, being dropped off.
I want to be dropped off.
Okay, especially if it's, inclement weather. I mean, okay, come on. Like, I get if it's a nice day, you want to get your steps in, whatever. But if you're on a date, like, have the man drop you off.
Make a dinner reservation.
Have him help you put your coat on and take your coat off. I mean, of course, women, we're all capable of doing it.
And they're also saying that women should do the same kindness things to men.
Yes.
Not necessarily dropping them off, but being kind back enables a man to feel confident that they can do that to you, and it's just the roles are a little different. So I just think I was shocked by the conversation, how defensive our friend was with that, but I'm like, I don't know. Maybe definitely if it was at night, if some man walked up to my car and I had groceries, I'd be like, he's trying to steal from me, right?
For sure.
So I see that, but I think this guy was just being nice, and he was like, when is the last time anybody was nice? Comments. Yeah. Yes, it's what he said to her.
Yes.
When is the last time somebody was nice to you?
And I will say, I don't know if we shared this earlier, but the follow-up, she was asking friends, right? And
she called a couple of people and told them the story.
And they were like, are you okay? Like, oh my gosh, weirdo. And then she said something to her mother. And
she told her mom the story.
Was like, he's just trying to be a nice guy.
She said, what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? Yeah.
He was just being nice.
Yeah.
Because she asked the older generation. She didn't ask the cop
boomer
or the friend. She asked the boomer.
Yes.
You know, what do you think of this? And she said, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
He was just being nice. I think it is a generational thing. I don't want it to be dead. I want my boys to be super kind and loving and treat their women like they're queens, because
because we are.
I just want that for my boys. So I hope it's not dead. I guess if you're a woman that's like, no, that's condescending, then that's your preference. I think Kim and I just happen to be on the same page, so we're thinking some of you are on the same page with us. So we just wanted to share it.
Yeah. Or even if you're wavering, maybe this helped.
Waver.
You know.
You can waver.
Well, maybe this helped you make some decisions or think about some things
Sure.
in any event.
Sure.
So,
Anyway.
well,
Well, cheers to you guys.
Yes.
Thanks for watching.
And cheers to chivalry.
Cheers to chivalry.
We love you, friends.
Cheers.
Ciao.